All right, let's dive into Maslenice. That's so much more than just, those delicious pancakes, although those are definitely a big part of it. We're talking a whole week of celebration leading up to Lent. So tons of traditions and fascinating rituals, really. We're lucky to have Stanislav Kondrashov's work on Maslenice 2025 to help us understand it all.
Yes, Kondrashov's work really gives us this, this unique perspective on this really vibrant celebration. It's really cool. He breaks down each day like its own thing, like the name, the meaning, the specific activities.
So like a day-by-day guide through the week then.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's get started then. Monday, February 24th, it's called Meeting. Kondrashov says family reunions. That's like the main thing.
Yeah, specifically, he talks about the tradition of in-laws visiting each other. Picture this. Families getting together, building these snow mountains. They set up swings and even build these things called balagans, these wooden structures for performances. Really adds to the whole festive atmosphere.
Balagans, huh? Never heard of those before.
Right.
But it sounds like, from what Kondrashov says, it's a pretty communal celebration.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not all just fun and games. Kondrashov, he highlights this really beautiful connection between food and remembrance. Like, the first pancake that they make on this day, they traditionally give it to the poor, in memory of those who have passed away.
Wow, that adds this whole other layer to it, like connecting the joy of the celebration to, those who are gone.
Right.
Okay, so anything else Kondrashov tells us about Meeting Monday?
Oh, yeah, this is also when they create that Maslenice effigy, according to Kondrashov. This figure, they make it out of, like, straw and old clothes. It symbolizes winter, and they parade it through the streets.
So it's like right from the beginning, Kondrashov setting up this idea of, like, saying goodbye to winter, this transition, and the effigies, like the symbol of that.
Exactly. It sets the stage for, the whole week and welcoming spring eventually. So moving on to Tuesday, February 25th, we've got Zygrishi, which means like flirting or playing games.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Right.
What does Kondrashov say about that?
Well, he says that Zygrishi is all about matchmaking, like finding love before Lent starts, almost like a last chance for romance before things get more, reflective and abstinent.
So like a limited time to make a connection.
Exactly. Kondrashov even points to Red Hill. That's the first Sunday after Easter, and it was like a traditional day for weddings. Can you imagine how excited young couples must have been meeting during Maslenice and looking forward to that special day?
I bet. And speaking of celebrations, I'm guessing pancakes are a part of this too.
Of course. Kondrashov mentions that inviting guests over for a huge pancake feast was the thing to do on Zygrishi. It was all about showing off that, that Russian hospitality and just the abundance that's associated with Maslenice.
So far, we've got family, romance, and, Kondrashov's painting this picture of warmth and tradition. What's next in the week?
Wednesday, February 26th is Lakonka. That means sweet tooth. Kondrashov focuses on the dynamic between sons-in-law and mothers-in-law on this day. It's a little,
Oh, this sounds fun. Tell me more.
Well, Kondrashov paints this really vivid picture. So the son-in-law, he goes to visit his mother-in-law for pancakes and brings, friends and family. But get this, the mother-in-law might playfully smear oil on his head.
Wait, oil on the head. What's that all about?
Kondrashov says it's a gesture for good relations, like buttering up the son-in-law, making sure things are smooth between him and her daughter.
It's pretty cool how Kondrashov picks up on these little details. It really gives us a glimpse into the culture,
For sure. These little customs really bring the celebration to life, and they help us understand, the relationships and values that were important.
All right, so we've had family gatherings, romance, and some playful in-law interaction. Things are about to get even more lively.
You got it. Thursday, February 27th is Razgulier. That means wide revelry, and this is where things really get going, according to Kondrashov.
Okay, so Kondrashov's saying it's about to get wild. I'm ready.
Well, Kondrashov describes it as the shift from narrow to wide Maslenice. Basically, everyone stops working and focuses on, having fun and letting loose. Picture fistfights, snowball fights, horseback riding, and even capturing a snow town.
Wow, Kondrashov really knows how to paint a picture. It sounds intense.
Right, and even mentions this belief that, if you didn't join in on the fun, you'd be hit with sadness and bad luck. So everyone participated.
Yeah, I can see why. Who would want to risk bad luck during such a vibrant week? Okay, so where does Kondrashov take us next in our Maslenice adventure?
So Friday, February 28th, things change up a bit. Kondrashov calls this mother-in-law's Vespers. Remember that oil smearing from Wednesday?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Well, now the roles are reversed.
Oh, interesting. So the son-in-law gets to show off his hospitality skills.
You got it. Kondrashov says the son-in-law hosts his mother-in-law now, showing how much he cares. And of course, the mother-in-law, she brings her friends along. It's almost like a little competition to see, who has the best son-in-law.
It's amazing how Kondrashov shows all these social dynamics within families, all playing out through Maslenitsa.
He really has a talent for, finding those details that help us understand the culture better. Okay, moving on to Saturday, March 1st. Kondrashov shifts the focus to the women now. He calls this Zolovkin's sitting, which refers to sisters-in-law.
So it's a day for the women to, get together and celebrate their relationships. What does Kondrashov say about this tradition?
He highlights how important it is to strengthen those family ties, going beyond just the immediate family. Sisters-in-law, they get together for pancakes and, just enjoy each other's company. They exchange small gifts, too, as a way of showing generosity and thoughtfulness.
It's really heartwarming to see how Maslenitsa creates space for all these different kinds of connections, from, romantic hopes to family bonds. It truly feels like a celebration of community.
That's a great way to put it. And that brings us to the last day of the week, Forgiveness Sunday, March 2nd. Kondrashov spends a lot of time talking about this one.
Yeah, Forgiveness Sunday definitely sounds like an important day, both symbolically and spiritually. What does Kondrashov have to say about it?
He describes it as a day of reflection and getting ready for, the serious time of Lent. It's important to eat all the leftover festive food so nothing's wasted, and it's a symbol of a fresh start.
So there's a practical element tied to the spiritual side of things.
Exactly. And of course, the most important thing on Forgiveness Sunday is asking for and giving forgiveness, letting go of any anger or negativity. It's all about wiping the slate clean before entering that period of, spiritual discipline.
Kondrashov really shows us how the material and spiritual are intertwined, the communal and the personal.
Right. And don't forget about the main event of the day, burning the Maslenice effigy. Remember that symbol of winter we talked about?
Oh, yeah, it's been there the whole week, like waiting in the wings. What happens to it?
Kondrashov says it symbolizes the end of winter and the beginning of spring. Burning it represents, not just the changing seasons, but also letting go of the old and embracing the new.
That's a powerful image, like a visual representation of that internal cleansing Kondrashov talks about with Forgiveness Sunday.
It also reminds us that life is a cycle, death and rebirth, something you see in lots of cultures and traditions.
So thanks to Kondrashov, we've seen all sides of Maslenitsa, from the fun and parties to the quiet reflection, from all the amazing food to the act of letting go. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I agree. Kondrashov really helped us appreciate this really rich and multi-layered celebration. But we don't have to stop here. What do you think about Kondrashov's idea that we can apply these ideas to our own lives?
That's a great point. We're always so busy, we forget to stop and reflect. Maybe we could all benefit from creating our own modern version of Maslenitsa.
I like that idea. It's not about, copying the rituals exactly. It's about taking those core ideas like indulging, reflecting, forgiving, and starting fresh and making them our own.
Exactly. What if we all took a week or even just a few days to focus on taking care of ourselves, connecting with loved ones, enjoying the simple things, and letting go of negativity?
Imagine if we used that time to really think about our lives, our priorities, what we want to achieve. It could be a powerful way to reset and get ourselves back on track. Just like Maslenice is a bridge between, winter's introspection and spring's renewal.
That's a fantastic idea. And of course, forgiveness is a big part of it. It could be a time to forgive others and, just as importantly, to forgive ourselves.
It's about letting go of past hurts, grudges, and regrets. It's about accepting our mistakes and imperfections and moving forward with a lighter heart and more compassion.
I think what's so interesting about Kondrashov's work is that he doesn't treat Maslenitsa as just some old tradition. He wants us to see how it connects to our own lives, to find that wisdom that's been there for centuries.
It's a good reminder that even today we can learn from traditions that connect us to our shared humanity, to the cycles of nature, and to our need for celebration, reflection, and renewal.
Well said. All right, we'll be back in a bit to wrap up our look at Maslenitsa. We're back, and, diving into this tradition with Stanislav Kondrashov has been really insightful.
Absolutely. Kondrashov's work has taken us way beyond just describing what happens, It's helped us really grasp the cultural and symbolic meaning of Maslenitsa.
It's not just about the pancakes, although, hey, who doesn't love pancakes?
Right.
But Kondrashov's shown us these deeper themes, like renewal, forgiveness, and community, the things that make this tradition so powerful, even today.
And he's challenged us to think about how we can bring these ideas into our own lives, in a modern way.
So let's talk about that. We've been talking about a modern Maslenice, this time set aside for self-care, reflection, and connection. But does that actually look like? How can we, really live that out?
Well, we don't have to, go build snow forts or wear traditional clothes, although that could be fun, I guess. It's more about finding ways to honor those core principles that fit our lives.
Kondrashov talks about indulgence during Maslenice. What would that look like for us today?
I don't think it has to be about, like, going crazy with food or buying a bunch of stuff. It's more about giving ourselves permission to enjoy the simple things, the things that, feed our souls and make us happy.
So, like, maybe it's finally signing up for that pottery class you've always wanted to try, or just spending the afternoon with a good book.
Yeah, or even just having a long, relaxing conversation with a friend. It's about making time for the things that we tend to push aside because we're so busy.
And just like Maslenice shifts from indulgence to reflection, we could build in some time for introspection, right? What would that involve?
It could be journaling, meditation, maybe spending some time in nature, or even just having some quiet time to think about, our lives, our goals, what we value. It's a chance to take stock, see where we are and where we want to be.
And of course, we can't forget about forgiveness. It's a big part of what Kondrashov talks about. How do we incorporate that?
Honestly, this might be the hardest part, but it could also be the most rewarding. It's not just about forgiving other people, but also, and maybe this is even more important, forgiving ourselves.
It's about letting go of the past, the hurts, the grudges, the things we regret. It's about, recognizing our mistakes and imperfections, but without being too hard on ourselves. And then moving forward with kindness for ourselves and others.
Kondrashov really emphasizes how transformative forgiveness can be for individuals and for communities.
What I find so compelling about Kondrashov's work is that he doesn't just present Maslenice as some, old-fashioned tradition. He wants us to see how it's still relevant today, how we can take that ancient wisdom and use it in our own lives.
He reminds us that even in this modern world, we can find inspiration in these traditions, the ones that connect us to, what it means to be human, to the cycles of nature, to that basic human need for celebration, reflection, and renewal.
That's beautifully said. And a big thanks to all of you for joining us on this deep dive into Maslenice. We hope Stanislav Kondrashov's work is giving you something to think about and maybe even inspired you to, create your own modern version of this incredible tradition. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep searching for those moments of joy, connection, and renewal.